In Super Hazard Quest, the players will be exploring an 8-bit dungeon while defeating mini-bosses to obtain the blue or red crystals. These crystals are the only way to defeat the final blue or red boss to win the game. Let's set up the game and then go into gameplay. Shuffle the dungeon deck and each player will draw a room. The player who drew the lowest stage will place the card in the center of the table, while all other tiles are shuffled back into the deck. Each player will choose a character to be their hero, and it's important to note that each hero also has a different action ability. Those character pawns are placed on the checkpoint flag of that tile. Finally, deal each player 5 item cards from the deck of items, and you're now ready to explore the dungeon. On your turn, you will attempt to reach another checkpoint by exploring the dungeon. You will have movement hazards and battle hazards. To pass these, you will need to use your hero's ability or item cards. Your goal is to reach the next flag or boss tile. If you don't reach a checkpoint, you go back to the one you started on. To know how to move in the dungeon, you can use this demo stage help sheet, but it's pretty straightforward. Some enemies need to be stomped on, while others need to be defended from. But as long as you have the hero ability or the item to pass, you can move into that spot. Once you've played the cards needed and you reach the flag, discard all used items and draw back to a hand of 5 cards. If you reveal a mini-boss and have the item needed to defeat its requirements listed above them, you get the reward written on the top right and a red or blue crystal, and sometimes items from the discard pile or item deck. Note that you do not need to beat a mini-boss to pass through him, and a mini-boss can also be beaten over and over again. Now that you have a crystal, hold on to it, because if you ever get wounded, hit a dead end, or don't reach your next checkpoint, you return to the previous flag and you lose all those crystals. If you want to travel safely, you can use the look action to look into an empty spot next to the tile you are on by revealing a new room, but this ends your turn. Now you're probably wondering if you can attack other heroes, right? There are these cards here that are used to change hazards on the board, which can make things easy for your hero or hinder another player. But they can also be used to trigger a hero battle if on the same checkpoint as another hero. Here, the attacker can play as many hazard cards as he chooses, and the defender must discard items to match those cards, whether they are combat or direction cards. If the defender can't, they lose a crystal to the attacker. And once you have the crystal needed to bring down the Scrambler final boss, all you need to do is reach the room and you win. Super Hazard Quest is an epic, crazy, and chaotic dungeon crawler in a tiny box. The art is fun for all you 8-bit fans out there, but the graphic design on the cards and even the rulebook feels a little basic. It almost feels like playing a prototype version of the game. The tactical choices are there, but don't think that you will have any long-term strategy as the dungeon and your hand is constantly changing. If you went the wrong way and end up being at the other end of the dungeon when the final boss comes out, it will take you forever to reach the room, and this is all based on luck. We made a house rule where the trapdoor at least allows you to go to 3 checkpoints away instead of just an adjacent one, and that helped a little. You will find that all characters are derived from real classic 8-bit games out there, and even the items will have a nostalgic hint. I wouldn't recommend playing it with a lot of players as the downtime can be very long. Having a random dungeon and a different character kind of helps replay value, but I'm not sure how many games you'll want to play after playing 3 or 4. No real original mechanics here, but still it's a fun and easy dungeon crawler at a good price, and it's travel friendly. Super Hazard Quest scores a 6 out of 10.